Hello, welcome to Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft, and this is Richard. So I am right now in the garage, and I am preparing for working on some primitive trapping, just for training. And what I got here is a few modern traps, and I really like these conifers. These things are fantastic. I love these things. I also have some leg holds. I have several variations, but here's one version of it. Here's one that's already set. Just sit here and boom, there you go, and trap. So that's for trapping. That's not for well, you can use them for survival and that sort of stuff, but this is for trapping. This is for catching a lot of animals consistently. And when you have the opportunity to have these, I absolutely suggest that you get into this sort of trapping, even if you're doing it for survival situations. These kind of traps are much more proficient and will yield more catches. But if you don't have them, or you can't lug something like this around and you are in a survival situation, then you're going to have to go more towards primitive setups. If you don't have these before you need them, most likely you're not going to have them. You can't just go out in the woods and make this. This isn't going to happen. You're just not going to go out into the woods, grab some sticks, and come up with this trap. Well, most people can't just grab some sticks and come up with this trap. You can do it, honestly, but you're not going to get this metal trap. So what I want to show you today is some primitive trapping. And I know for all you trappers out there, survival trapping and primitive trapping is useless and you're not going to be able to survive on it and And I'm not disagreeing with you. Not disagreeing with you. It is much more difficult. The chances of catching something versus not catching something is a lot worse with those than if you use actual metal traps like this. But if you're not going out trapping for furs and that sort of thing consistently, this stuff isn't absolutely necessary. You can attempt to survive using primitive trapping. Yes, it takes 30 traps to possibly get one animal. It absolutely, but you're going to need a handful of these to catch anything as well. So I do understand, I do comprehend that modern metal traps, as far as catching things and having a consistent catch and a better chance to catch, yes, much more versatile, much more ease and convenience with this sort of stuff. But that's not what we're talking about today. So let me get set up for the primitive snare trap that I'm going to show you today. And hopefully today we can go out and actually set something to show it to you. I also want to do a video on actually making one of these. So I've got a lot to do today, so we'll see if we can get all this done. Hope I have everything sitting close by here that I'm going to need. We'll see. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I've got this really cool Stanley tool that has all sorts of knives and hammers and pliers and everything here. Maybe I'll use this, maybe I won't. It's not necessary. I am going to use a pair of needle nose pliers. Again, this is probably, this and a knife is probably the two items that you would want to have, if anything. But you can actually do this out in the woods without it. So here is one that I already have designed and set made. It's a stick with just a hammer into the ground, some cordage. I have my snare wire, and I have right here, if you can see, I have a piece of straw. Now, I do like using this hose, and I really don't remember where I got this at, but I like this hose stuff. But if I don't have the hose, a simple straw will work. So I'll show you how I use the straw. But anyway, this is the whole setup. Here is my tree, my stick, and of that I will cut 1 foot sticks and sharpen the edge so that I can pound that into the ground. I have a 2 foot piece of cordage, which right here is that. And then I really don't recall how long the wire is. Hold on a second and I'll tell you. Kinda, sorta. It looks like 2 feet. Around 2 foot of wire, and then of course a small piece of straw. You see that? There we go. Just like that. This is the trap right here, the snare. Now, we will get to building one of those here in a minute. Let's see what, okay, here. This is something that I very much like to use with my snares when I can. This is nothing more than a coat hanger, a wire coat hanger. Again, a stick, a 1 foot stick, somewhat sharpened, cut at the end to make a spike. And I have drilled holes in these. This one doesn't have a hole yet. Here is the spike, and I would just drill a hole up there. It's best to do this stuff when you have the tools available to you, when you can, and have it prepared, prepped, and ready to go for when you can use it. But if you don't, you don't. You don't have to have that hole up there. You can just wrap this stuff around here. But anyway, I've got a hole in there, and then I've attached the coat hanger to that so that it's secure. So again, when we get out in the woods, I'll show you what this is for. I really like having one of these with me for each trap. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to have one with me for each trap, but if I can, I will have one. So that's the whole trap system right here for a snare. I have the actual snare, and then I have my bracing system right here. So what I'm going to do real quick is we will run through making one of these quickly. I just have a piece of wire here, and this is green wire that I got from the Dollar Tree. Well, maybe not from the Dollar Tree. You can get this green wire at the Dollar Tree. It's just little wire you can find in, especially during the garden season, I guess. I may have gotten a big roll of this at Michael's or Walmart or wherever, but you can get this stuff anywhere. You can get this at the Dollar Tree. We'll put it that way. So just a big old piece of wire. This is not really to size, but it doesn't have to be, because here's all of them that I have right now that I've already made to size, and I've got the loops and the tops and everything ready to go. So all you're going to do is just take a stick, nice little stick from outside, and I am just going to roll the wire over this stick and make it a little smaller, right like that here. Now, this is when you can just pinch and twist. I like having a pair of pliers handy. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've got a band-aid on my finger already because of this. So all you do is hold that piece of wire and twist. And what we're doing is we're making a loop. I'll get a hold of it, and maybe a little bit. There we go. And just twist. All right, there we go. Take it and twist and twist and twist and twist till we make a nice little loop. All right, now, hopefully I didn't twist it so tight that I can't get it off of the stick, but it looks like I did, so I'm going to have to untwist it just a tad bit. Twist it back this way just a bit. There we go. So now you just have a very small little loop right there. Okay? Now, once you get that, don't really have to worry about shaping it to size right now. But anyway, so I have that. Run it for however long I want it to run. Doesn't really matter at this point because I'm just using it as a demonstration. We'll take the end and run it through that loop. And there we go. Now we have the loop right here. That's really the snare. That's really all it is. That's the snare. Now, I'm going to take this off here real quick just so I can not have that there. What I'm going to do is attach a piece of cordage to it. So I'll need to make another loop. So once it's through here and I have the loop like so, I'll make another loop at this end and I'll attach a piece of cordage to it. Then I'll take that cordage and I will tie it to my stake. And once I do that, there we go, just like that. Now, depending on the size of straw that you're going to use, if you use this apparatus to add to it, which I suggest you do, you may have to put the straw on before you make the loop or after. It doesn't really matter. But you put a piece of straw on there. I would say before you make that second loop and tie it up. But regardless, you get it on there. All right. So now we have that straw on there. Now I'll show you how this works. We will go outside and do this here real quick. But this stakes into the ground, and this will set on the trail. And what we are going to do is this straw will hold the clothes wire, the hanger, so that we have something that's very sturdy holding up that snare so that it doesn't wobble. Because if you just hang it like this, then see how it just weaves around and goes all kinds of crazy places. So that stops it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go outside real quick. Just go out in the yard. I'm going to set this up, show you how it works real quick, show you what it looks like without the support and with the support, so I can show you that the support is so much necessary to make this trap more effective. So let's get outside and let's show this thing off. Alright, so we're going to use this spot just to kind of show you how this will work. Now there is an actual trail right there, and this little tree here would work really nice. Anyway, let's not do this for real. Let's just set this up. So here is my snare, here is my support system, and I have my little hammer. Matter of fact, this is actually would be a decent place to put one for real. So anyway, I got a little box that I'm kneeling down on. Now I want this noose to be about 5 inches round, and we're just going to set it right. We're going to want it right there is where I want it. Yeah, so I'm going to pound in my stake. And again, we're after rabbits, not buffalo, so it doesn't have to be horribly in there, really super bad. Turn that around. There we go, right there. Good. All right. Now, a lot of people would just simply hang that snare right here like this on this tree limb. But, and it might be difficult for you guys to see this, but if you do that, this snare moves everywhere. Look at that. It just goes everywhere and it doesn't tighten up. So what I like to do is I have this one And I will set this one back here. And that's good enough just for demonstrations. Now this wire is going to adjust, and I'll just move it around there. And what will happen is I'm going to place it in that right inside the straw, and I'm going to find a stick. Let's see here. This might work. And well, that ain't gonna work. I'm gonna take a couple of these little sticks, bend them together. There we go. And I'm gonna shove it in that straw. There we go. That works just like that. And it makes a nice tight thing for it to hang on to. Let's see. And there, just like that. Now, I can adjust that wire to wherever I want this noose to sit, just like that. All right, so it's about fist length and down just a tad bit. There we go. It's about fist length from the ground. It's about 5 inches wide, and it covers this. I still want to bend that down just a tad bit. This, like, right there is really good. There we go. Open that up. And perfect. Now, and I will show you a little bit better here in a second. If you can't see that, I can't really tell if you can see that on the camera or not. But this trail goes right in like this here. Here's a natural fencing right here with this tree. I can put some more fencing up, sticks, leaves, whatever. You can just take a stick like this, stick it in the ground just like so, and just do that wherever and create a path for it to go straight into here. Now, the noose is not directly up. It's at an angle over here. So what's going to happen is the animal will come through here, it will get trapped, and then the noose will tighten up, but this whole thing won't spin around. Just like so. So let me get this camera adjusted. So here is the setup for this snare trap. And I have the stake in here that has the wire that runs up and is holding the snare open, or holding the snare right there. Here's my second stake that has the cordage and the snare. And again, I can't even tell if you can see the snare because it blends in so well. A little bit, maybe I'll move it around there. Can you see that? Yeah, okay. So that opens up right like that there. So what happens is the animal will come through here, it'll hit that, and then see how the snare moves? Just the snare part here, the whole thing doesn't move, so it's not going to just move back and forth and up and down. It will boom right there, and then it runs off and it gets trapped. So that is the snare right there. So this is a decent snare for small animals like rabbits. You can make of course the noose smaller, and it would be good for squirrels or any other small animal. But this is how I run my snares and practice them. And this is actually a really good spot for a snare. We have, this one's a little bit longer, and I'm not gonna cut again just to get that piece off. That'll just stick that way. 2, 4, 6 of them, plus the other 2 that I have. So this will be a stack, this will be a stack, and this will be a stack. So now all I got to do is sharpen the tips, or somewhat sharpen the tips, and we'll go outside and do that. just a small little start here. I can finish it up with a knife, but I got all these somewhat to stakes. Now I am just going to simply drill a hole through the top about right here, just right down, and I am going to use my Dremel. So I might as well get this stuff taken care of out here while I can still do it. There we go. So we have the hole here, and I have them somewhat into stakes right now. So I have 3 pieces of cordage that is 2 feet long. I have my 3 stakes because these 3 are going to be used as the supports. Then I have my 3 pieces of wire, and I am just going to cut 3 pieces off of this straw, and we'll say that's good enough right there. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our wire, which I already have a loop on that end. I am going to thread it through. There we go. So we have that. I am going to put on one of my pieces of straw, and then we are going to make another loop. So I am going to take my piece of stick. I'm just going to wrap that just like this, and just so that I don't pinch myself with the wire, I will hold that. There we go. And I will just twist this wire until it creates a nice little, there we go. And I don't want that to get too tight, so there we go. And there is our second there. So now we are going to take a piece of the cordage, and I'm going to run it through the loop, and I am just going to tie it off like so. There we go. Now, lastly, I'm going to, well, not for this end, I'm going to burn the tip cordage that's left here at the end, and I will burn that for 2 purposes. One, so that it will create a, it won't unwind, and 2, so it will create a stop that will keep it from coming loose. There we go. Just like so. And we'll just let that cool down for a second, and that will create a nice little stop. There we go. Mush that a little bit so it'll cool down quicker. There we go. So that creates a nice little stop there. So now we have that. I will simply take one of my sticks. I will run that in through there, and I am going to create a knot big enough that it will not come back through that hole. And I will melt that end as well eventually. There we go. And then that end will get melted as well, just like so. so that it doesn't come unraveled. And then it will, there we go, look at that. And then it will hold there. And there we go. Loop will be big enough to catch small to medium sized. And then I have my straw on there to assist with a wire hanger. And there we go. So that's one more down. I have enough to make 2 more, so I'll make those exactly the same way, and then we'll get back with you. I only have this one stabilizing bar because I only had one hanger. I got to get a hold of a handful more hangers, but I'll be taking these 3 sticks that I've already got shaped and the holes drilled, and a hanger, and I will be using this, just attach the hanger to it, and then I have that, and I showed you how we're going to use the hanger, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 snares. So as soon as I get the hangers done, then I can take these out and practice with them. So got 1 hanger, and then these 3 will make the 4. And I hope that's helpful to everybody. Like I said previously, yes, trappers that use metal modern day traps are going to catch a lot more food or a lot more fur or whatever you're doing with them. Absolutely. But there's nothing wrong with learning and practicing these snares. They may come in handy, and I don't know, I'm just really excited about working with these for a while. I have worked with the conibers and the leg traps, and I know they work, and I know they produce, but in that occasion when I don't have them, or if somebody doesn't have them around, what are you going to do? And go back to the primitive stuff, because if it wasn't for the primitive stuff, which sustained our life for thousands of years, without people doing that, we would have never evolved into what we have for modern day. So don't just overlook all the primitive stuff, because without the primitive stuff, we wouldn't have any of the modern stuff. So keep that in mind when you're talking shit about primitive survival skills. Again, thank you for watching Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft, and enjoy the outdoors, even if it's just your own backyard.